Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling uneasy? Not because of what was said, but because something didn't add up? And only later, replaying it in your head, did you realize the signs were there all along? You sense more than you think you do. The problem isn't that you can't read people. It is that you've been trained to trust what is visible instead of what is leaking underneath. They're not who you think. And once you understand why, you'll never look at a smile, a compliment, or a confident handshake the same way again. Every person you meet presents a version of themselves designed for survival. Not truth, survival. From childhood, we learn which parts of us earn approval and which parts get punished. Over time, we refine the mask that keeps us safe. The charming one learned charm works. The quiet one learned silence avoids criticism. The strong one learned vulnerability invites attack. So when you meet someone, you're not meeting their core. You're meeting their strategy. And most people don't even know they're performing it. That's why first impressions feel powerful, but are often misleading. You're responding to the persona, not the person. And personas are crafted carefully. But here's the part no one teaches you. Masks leak. Not dramatically, subtly, in tension, in timing, in what's avoided. Watch what makes someone uncomfortable. Notice the micropause before they answer something personal. Notice how quickly they change the subject when it gets too close. Notice the laugh that lasts a second too long. These aren't random. They're cracks. And the cracks reveal what the mask is protecting. Most behavior isn't driven by logic. It's driven by fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of insignificance. Fear of exposure. When someone over-explains themselves, ask what they're afraid you'll assume. When someone dominates every conversation, ask what silence would force them to feel. When someone says, "I don't care what anyone thinks," ask why they needed to say it at all. Exaggeration is almost always compensation. The louder the claim, the deeper the insecurity it's trying to drown. People betray themselves through intensity. Absolute statements, "I'm always fine," "I never get jealous," "I don't need anyone," are rarely truths. They're shields. And the more rigid the shield, the more fragile the thing it's guarding. If you want to read someone clearly, stop listening only to content. Start listening to patterns. What do they criticize repeatedly? Because what someone attacks in others often reveals what they're suppressing in themselves. Projection is confession in disguise. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Watch control. Have you ever wondered why you do the things you do? Or why people around you react in certain ways? It often feels like we're just going through the motions, driven by forces we don't quite understand. But what if I told you there's a key to unlocking this mystery? It's called self-awareness, and it's the first step to truly understanding not just yourself, but everyone else too. Think about it. We all have these built-in patterns, these automatic responses to situations. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you get angry. You face a big project, and you start procrastinating. These aren't random. They're learned behaviors, often rooted deep in our past experiences and core beliefs. The problem is, when we're not aware of them, we're not in control. We're just passengers in our own lives. But the moment you start paying attention, everything changes. You begin to notice the little things. That feeling of tightness in your chest before an argument. The urge to check your phone when you feel bored or anxious. This is where the magic happens. By simply observing your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment, you start to see the connections. You realize, I get defensive when I feel criticized because I'm afraid of not being good enough. This isn't just about you, though. Once you start understanding your own inner world, a funny thing happens. You start understanding others better, too. You see that the coworker who's always bragging might just be deeply insecure. The friend who suddenly goes quiet might be overwhelmed, not angry at you. You start seeing the human behind the behavior. You develop empathy. So, How do you build this superpower of self-awareness? It starts small. Try journaling for just 5 minutes a day. Ask yourself questions like, what was my biggest emotional reaction today and why? Practice a little mindfulness. Take a few deep breaths and just notice what's happening in your body and mind right now. Talk to a trusted friend or a therapist. Getting an outside perspective can be incredibly revealing. Becoming more self-aware is a journey, not a destination. It's about being curious, compassionate, and patient with yourself. As you peel back the layers, you'll not only gain control over your own life, but you'll also build deeper, more meaningful connections with the people around you. You'll stop just reacting to the world and start consciously creating your experience of it. And that is a truly powerful way to live. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, give this video a like and subscribe for more content on understanding ourselves and others. See you next time.